Everybody, welcome back. Sink or Swim Garage. Um, we're gonna start getting that motor put together today. It's kind of been a nightmare somewhat, waiting on parts and things. They sent me the piston rings wrong once, and then they sent me 10 main bearings, 10 undersized main bearings, and it's been a rough go around trying to get parts. I don't know if the 400, because it's 4 125 or 4 155 30 over bore it gets confusing with the small block 354 inch bore. I don't know, but they sent me the rings wrong twice. The first time they sent them for a standard bore, they're supposed to be for 30 over. And then when I called them and gave them the right part numbers and sent the other ones back, they sent me ones for a 350 4-inch bore. So it's been kind of a nightmare trying to get the right parts for this motor. I don't know what it is, but I never had issues before ever getting parts, so I don't know what's going on. But we got everything today. We got the rings. We checked all them in the cylinders, all the clearance good. There's one cylinder that concerns me a little bit. Not sure why. It's kind of I had this thing bored out a long time ago, so it's like I can't go back now. I should have checked everything then when I had it done. But there's one cylinder concerns me. I went online and a lot of guys said it wasn't a big deal. But I like everything to be, really close in spec with the cylinders and stuff. And there's one cylinder that actually really concerns me. So we're just I could order another set of rings that are oversized and just foul fit them down. I'm just going to swing for the fence, man. And hopefully this thing works, because I'm just kind of burnt out. And if I have to take it back apart, so be it. But I know that sounds crazy to some of you, but I don't think it's enough to where we should have a problem, but we're going to find out when we put it on the test stand. At least we don't have to take it in and out of the cart. You know what I mean? At least it'll be right here. So we got the new rings finally. Pistons are all set with the rod bearings. Got new rod bearings in there. They're ready to go. Blocks right here. I already put the crank in. I did that the other day because the rings were wrong. So I was going to video it all and do it all together, but I went ahead and put the crank in. It was just so late and I was just frustrated. So I went ahead and got that done. But we're going to get this thing all put together, and then we're going to get it on a test stand. So hopefully get this thing fired up and see what we got. So the only thing about it is when I put it on the test stand, I'm just going to start it for a little bit. I got to weld some radiator brackets on the test stand. I just ain't had a chance to do, but I want to weld them where I can unbolt them, put them back on, and kind of disassemble it. So once I do that, then we can put the radiator on it and just give it a full run and just let it sit there and idle and kind of break everything in. But I do want to try to get it started and make sure that cylinder is okay in there. See if we got, any blow by or whatever, and see how it is. So, all right, be right back with you guys. All right. So see, I got the crank in, basically got the cylinders all oiled up. This is the cylinder right here that I'm mostly concerned about, is this one right here. This cylinder right here, I'm mostly concerned about. All the rest of them are good. It's just something with this one right here that concerns me. So hopefully we don't have a problem, but we'll see. But we'll be right back, and we'll get on this thing and start assembling it. And I won't bore you through the whole process. We'll do a couple rods and pistons. I'm sure you guys all know how to do it, but just showing what we're doing, and you guys are all a part of it. So we'll get that done, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. We're going to go ahead and pop one of the pistons in here real quick. And we'll maybe do one or two, and that way you guys can see we're doing it together. All right, so our rod journal is all lubed up, and we'll get our piston and rod at number 1, and we'll put number 2 in, and then I'll just go ahead and fast forward and knock these out real quick. Make sure everything's lined up right. That's it. I'm hoping I clearance these rods enough for the camshaft. We talked about in one of the other videos that on these 400s, when you use 5.7 rods, if you don't buy clearanced rods, these are just standard 5.7 rods. And I clearanced them right here with the ARP bolts to clear the camshaft, so I'm hoping we don't have a problem with that. So we'll see. I'm going to put 1 and 2 in and 5 and 6 in, put the cam in, rotate it, make sure I don't have any issues, because usually 5 and 6 is the ones that hit. So but that number 8 cylinder is the one I'm concerned about. So we'll see what happens when we get to that one. I'll turn the video back on, but we'll go ahead and pop number 2 in, and then I'll speed it up, and then we'll do the number 8 and see where we're at. So I usually always jump around back and forth, make sure they go up evenly, you know, because you don't want to tighten up one side and then be cocked and then jerk the other side up. So kind of spread them out a little bit. I'm going to show you guys what I just did. And it's just because let me turn this camera a little bit here. I'm going to show you guys what I just did. I put the rod cap on backwards. And it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I'm just exhausted and I'm tired from working so much. And I put a lot of motors together and I actually wasn't paying attention, and I put the rod cap on backwards and I almost torqued it down. What is the important thing is I caught it without running it like that, and I realized the cap was on backwards. I had it spun around the wrong way, and I should have known better, but I'm not perfect and I'm gonna post it on here. I don't really care, but I was tired and I shouldn't even be doing this today, but I got to get it done. You know what I mean? You work a lot of hours and you work a lot, you know, and sometimes you get exhausted, but I need to get this done. You know, I need to keep pushing forward and knock this out. But I just thought I'd show you guys and share with you that I put it on backwards. So even though everybody makes mistakes, so if you're new to this stuff and you're doing this, don't feel bad if you make a mistake, because I've been doing this for quite a while and I just put this cap on backwards. But you know, it happens, so don't let it get you down. I really can't believe I did that, but I did. So just really tired. I've been working a lot of hours and been trucking a lot lately and stuff like that. So things can happen, and this is a watch what you're doing when you're tired. You know what I mean? Keep focused on what you're doing. But I almost left it on there like that. I mean, I hope I would have caught it, you know, after I went through and started putting them on, but things happen, you know what I mean? So we're gonna torque these down and we'll be all set. We're gonna torque these at 40. And I apologize for this torque wrench. It's kind of annoying the way that it makes all the racket and everything, with all that beeping going on. I like the old style that just clicks. But the one that I got, that's old style, I don't know, it grew legs. I can't find it. It just up and walked off or disappeared or something. I don't know. But I got one of them that's really huge. Like, it's a really big one, like for semi trucks and stuff, but that's obviously too big for this. But yeah, so apologize for all the beeping with this thing. But we'll do 30 and 30, and then we'll do another 10. Thing's annoying. All right. All right, let's grab number 2 cylinder. Let's find number 2 here. We'll get that one all ringed up and put the rings on it. See which one it is here. Yeah, here's number 2 right here. That's just like an honest mistake that happens, man, when you're not really paying attention. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, man. And you know, that's the thing, where nobody's perfect doing this stuff. I swear. I put a lot of inches together, and I don't remember ever doing that. But I'm also 45 years old, you know, so I used to watch the people that were older than me doing this stuff, and then, you know, I used to see them be like, oh man, they start cussing, you know, they made a mistake. But it is what it is. Things happen. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? As long as you catch it, that's the main thing. You know what I mean? This stuff's been sitting around for a couple days out here on the bench, so I'm gonna kind of wipe it off with some cleaner before I put the bearings in, because you never know what could be blowing around in this garage. You know what I mean? Never can tell. Could be anything, you know. I guess I should probably check that first cylinder I put in, make sure the piston rings were in right. But I don't know. I checked them before I put it in though, so I think that's why I messed up. I was more concerned about making sure my piston rings were clocked right, you know, and I forgot all about the rod bearing cap. And then again, the main bearings in the crank could be in there wrong too. You never know. We'll find out when we fire it up, I guess. Kind of got a mess going on in here. There's stuff all over this place. Stuff everywhere, literally. All right, I'll show you on camera here how I put these on. I'm sure you guys already know. But put them on. I always put the gap. I always put the gap here in the front right here. You can use either side, but I always put them on this end right here. So if you're looking at the piston in the block, I always put it right here in the center, so when you put it on, just kind of roll it on like that. And then your gap will be right there in the center of the rod right there. That'll be your gap for that one. You always got to be careful with these Oil-Land rings. Sometimes you'll go to grab them and they come out of the package with like grease and oil on them, and they'll stick together, and you'll have 2 of them on there instead of 1. So always want to make sure that you spread them apart. Make sure you got just 1. But on these ones here, we're gonna clock these up here. Like if you can see the ring gap right here, That's the gap of the ring between the two right there. We're gonna clock those right over here like this. The bottom one's gonna be right there, and your first oil ring on the bottom, underneath here on the bottom, we're gonna clock it on this side right here, and then we're gonna clock the other one over here like that. And then your top and second groove, we'll clock them across from each other. People have different ways of doing it, but that's how I'm gonna do it. So you're gonna wanna start out at the top right here. You can see here, I'm holding the camera right. Just like that. Roll it around. Make sure I show you guys right so you can see it. Just kind of roll it around. That one actually kind of moved down here. We'll roll it back though. Just roll it around to the bottom. You pop it on just like that. Then we'll spin this back to the center because I actually moved it a little bit. So that's back to the center, and this one, if you'll see the end of it right there on camera, that's the end of it. We're gonna clock it right there. That's where it's at, right there. So that one's gonna be up here. The first one's gonna be down here at the bottom, like this. And the other one will be up here. The next one we're gonna put is gonna be over here. So the next one, we're gonna clock it up here, up on top. We're gonna stick it in there like that. You can see, and we're gonna roll it around. I'll hold it with my finger. I'll kind of just roll it around. Just like so, just like that. Move this one around here. See, so that one's right there. That one, that top one's there. The top ring is right here. The bottom ring underneath the oil gland ring is going to be right here. And then this one is clocked right here. That's where it connects at. It's right there. Some of these rings are different. Some of them you can put in the same way, but if you'll look here, it's got a dot on it. If you can see it or not, see that dot? The dot's always going to go on the top, like this. This is your second ring on the piston. So it's going to go on the top. The dot's always going to go towards the top of the piston. It won't go on the bottom towards, like going towards the crank. The dot's going to go towards the top of the piston just like that. So let me get my ring pliers here. All right, so we're going to take this ring right here, put it over the piston. We're going to drop it right in there. Just like that. And I'll show you how we're going to clock these. Let me get the top ring on, and I'll show you how we're going to clock these. All right, so this is the top ring. This is the top ring. It doesn't have any markings on it. So you can put this in. You can put this ring in either way. This one doesn't have any markings, so you can put this one in either way. I'm going to look and verify that and make sure, but I'm like positive you can. Some of these rings kits are different. Some of them have dots all through them. They'll have markings on them. A lot of them you foul fit will have stuff on them, but these are just drop-in rings. This isn't like a high horsepower engine or anything. It's just a it's a little street motor, so it's nothing serious. But these ones here doesn't have any kind of markings on them anywhere. So we're gonna put these in, and I'll show you how to clock the two top rings once I get this one in here. So this one here, we're just gonna drop right on the top here, just like that. Now on these ones, we're going to spin this one to that side, right there if you can see it. We're going to spin this one to this side, and then this ring here is going to be to this side. So you got one here and one there, and I showed you the oil gland rings. We'll get this in the compressor and we'll pop this one in. I always use this Brad Penn oil. I love this stuff. It's 2050, it's a little thicker, but when I put my pistons in, I always coat the rings in this. They just seem like they go in smoother, cylinders don't get abused, and this is a good oil. So if you guys haven't used this, you might want to look into it. It's really good oil. So this is what I use. I probably gotta tell you the story behind that oil. My buddy, he was always big on that Brad Penn oil, and I was always into Valvoline. Valvoline, I love Valvoline, this and that. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. Um, you know, I would always laugh because he'd pay all that big money for that oil, you know, and Valvoline for me always did great, you know. But I'm gonna tell you, I was on the track one day, we was racing, and we was out at a track kind of far away, and I kind of lost control a little bit and went off the track and hit like a, where the track falls off onto the dirt, there's like a concrete drop off the track, the blacktop. It knocked a hole in the oil pan. This is no joke. I had the oil light sensor on and it never came on. I don't know if it just went bad over time or what, but it never came on. I made 5 laps and that thing was dumping oil out, man. And people were trying to tell me, but I just kept going, you know, because I was doing pretty good. And I'm a firm believer in that oil because I lost all the oil out of that engine. You know, that engine lasted for another season, never had no problem until I just took it out and rebuilt it, and everything still looked really good. But that Brad Penn oil, man, I'm a firm believer in it now, that's for sure. So, got to give my friend the props on that one. That was his big idea on that oil. Let's go over here now. Let's get this one in. Side now. See it better. All right, that one's on there now. Had to be real careful because I didn't want to hit the crank as I came in. I didn't have no rubber little grommets for the end of the rod bolt, so I had to be real careful and just tap it real slow and kind of make sure I didn't jab the crank going in. The noise you hear tapping, that was the side of the crank where the piston was kind of spinning on me a little bit, so I had to be real careful and not run it into that. Rod bolts. Yeah, you really need to use those little rubber things on the end of the rod studs when you put them in there. I just can't find the ones that I had, so I went ahead and knocked them in, but I didn't hit the crank or nothing, so. Yeah. Sure, but I don't think I did. Sure, we didn't hit the crank. Sure. Everything was lovely. That's what we're gonna say. Everything was lovely. Baby's gonna be like clink, 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 clink. We hope not anyway. We hope it's gonna be good. All right, let me flip this around so we can torque these standing up here. Here we go with the beeping again. It'll just be a second. That's all she wrote. Feels good. All right. All right, we got the number 1, number 2 in. I'll get all the rest of them in, and I'll bring you guys back on that number 8, and we'll do that one together, and I'll show you what I mean. So hopefully it's nice and good and we don't have to worry about it. So I used to have some Buick rings, some Buick. They're the same bore as the 400 pretty much, you know. If I can find those rings, I might just foul fit that cylinder. And I don't know yet, but we'll get back to that. We'll get this thing together. We'll leave number 8 for last, because either way we're sending it, but let's see what happens. So we'll be right back. All right, I got all the rest of the pistons in. Everything's good so far. This is the cylinder that I'm worried about. I thought it was number 8, it's number 7. I apologize. But we're gonna get it in right now, see what kind of slop we got in it. So let's go ahead and get it in there. Hope this one don't give us no trouble, but I got a feeling that it is. I mean, maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be all right, but let's flip it over and put the bearing on, see what happens. Yeah, number 7. Number 7 was the one I was worried about. I thought it was number 8, but it wasn't number 7. I had it written down wrong, but then I realized when I looked at it, like I marked it with a Sharpie, it's number 7, because I wanted to check it again, put the rings in there and check it one more time to make sure, and it's number 7. All right, let's get this torque wrench out here, get this thing torqued down. We gotta do this one. I did this one earlier, I just didn't torque it down. That's it. That's all of them. that's pretty much it. We got it all back together. I kind of wish I would have decked the block and got that piston up a little higher than that, but it's all together now, so that pretty much does it right there. I got the short block all together. Tomorrow I'll start putting the heads back on, cam in it, time and chain. It'll take me probably, just a few hours to get that done, and then we'll get this thing on the test stand within the next day or two, and we'll get that video out. But I thought I could get it all done today, but I kind of ran out of time doing other stuff. I had to go pick up a car. And that's another video. It's coming up. But we'll get back on this thing right away and get it on the test stand and get it running.